President Donald Trump ousted his national security advisor. That's where we're starting the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Friday, May 2nd. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. It was the biggest shakeup of this administration so far. President Trump removed Michael Waltz from his role of national security advisor. He'll be replaced for the time being by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who will also carry on in his normal job. The decision reflects Trump's disappointment with Waltz for his role in the Signal chat scandal. That's when Waltz inadvertently included a journalist on a group chat about military operations in Yemen. But he's not going away entirely. Trump said yesterday that he is nominating Waltz to be UN ambassador. That sets the stage for a contentious confirmation process. Democrats will be able to grill Waltz about the opening months of the Trump presidency. One Democrat, Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut, said that Waltz was not the one who should be fired over the Signal scandal.
The Trump security team is a hot mess. And the one who should go is not the fall guy, Michael Waltz. It is the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, who is responsible. He should be held accountable. He should be fired right now.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's use of Signal has become a growing crisis for the Pentagon. Last week, it was revealed he also used it to share sensitive military details with his wife and brother. A judge ruled that President Trump's use of an 18th century law for deportations is illegal. That's number 2. In March, Trump signed a proclamation invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Back then, it was passed by Congress as war with France loomed. It gave the president the power to expel people during a declared war or any invasion or predatory incursion into the United States. Trump used it to deport more than 130 immigrants, many from South Texas, to a mega prison in El Salvador. His officials have vowed to send more. But yesterday, the plan suffered a major legal setback. A Trump-appointed federal judge said that the president exceeded his authority by invoking the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelan migrants. The ruling permanently bars such removals in South Texas. The judge said Trump's proclamation to invoke the centuries-old act lacked evidence of an invasion, and so it was unlawful. Number 3. The chair of Tesla's board said she is highly confident in CEO Elon Musk. Tesla has faced backlash over Musk's role overseeing huge cuts to the federal government for President Trump. The company has suffered months of depressed sales, profits, and stock price. On Wednesday night, the Wall Street Journal reported that Tesla's board had begun searching for a new chief executive. It said investors had grown increasingly frustrated with Musk's focus on the federal government. But yesterday, the chair of Tesla's board denied that report. Robin Denholm called the Journal's report absolutely false in a post on X. And she said she had faith in Musk's ability to continue running the company. During his short stint in government service, Musk has become a singular object of loathing for many Democrats and independents. In our newsletter today, we link to an entertaining article on why so many people hate Musk. As usual, just follow the link in our show notes. Number 4. Some of your online orders could get more expensive starting today. The Trump administration is shelving a nearly century-old tax loophole. It spares merchandise worth less than $800 from import taxes. And until now, it has saved companies from paying tens of billions of dollars in fees on cheap imports, most of which come from China. The move stems from the sweeping tariffs President Trump announced last month on most U.S. trading partners. And it will affect businesses from Etsy sellers and family-run footwear companies to e-commerce giants. Meanwhile, at a cabinet meeting on Wednesday, Trump predicted that higher prices caused by tariffs could lead Americans to buy less stuff.
Somebody said, oh, the shelves are going to be open. Well, maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30, and maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally. But we're not talking about something that we have to go out of our way. They have ships that are loaded up with stuff, much of which, not all of it, but much of which we don't need.
This is the closest Trump has come to suggesting that Americans should make do with less. Number 5. The family of a journalist missing in Syria said the U.S. knew his location for years. Austin Tice was abducted in 2012. The former Marine had been working as a freelance writer, contributing coverage of Syria's civil war to news outlets, including The Post. In the years since, U.S. officials have long contended that they did not have reliable information as to his whereabouts. But yesterday, Tice's mother, Deborah, said that wasn't true. She said the U.S. government had specific knowledge of his location. She based her conclusion on extensive intelligence records that the Trump administration recently permitted her to access. Her statement suggests that more could have been done to recover her son. Hopes for his rescue had been raised when Syria's dictatorship was toppled last year. But his mother, who visited the country in January, says he was moved around that time and will now be much more difficult to find. "75% of North America's bird species are in decline." That's number 6. A sweeping study of North American avian populations was published yesterday. It revealed population losses among 3/4 of the continent's bird species. For a majority of bird species, the decrease observed between 2007 and 2021 was greatest in the places where they were most abundant. That suggests that birds are struggling even in their strongholds. Scientists say that is the most troubling finding, and that it's a warning for the people who live alongside birds. The things that are hurting birds could also harm humans. There's no single reason for the decline, but climate change, habitat loss, and air pollution are contributing to a slow-moving extinction crisis. And at number 7, a rising star was accused of cookbook plagiarism, but it's complicated. Brooke Bellamy is a bakery owner and influencer in Australia. Her first cookbook came out last year. It's called Bake with Brookie, and it's causing some major drama. 2 food writers accused Bellamy of copying their recipes for her book. Bellamy has denied the allegations. She said all baking has to follow common steps and measures, otherwise it doesn't work. But the whole episode has raised questions about whether or not it's even possible to copyright food creations. It turns out the law is complicated. Simple lists of ingredients or recipe steps can't be protected by copyright law in Australia because they're considered an idea. But a highly original expression of instructions or a collection of recipes, such as in a book, could create the basis for a claim. It would still be very hard to prove copyright infringement. So go tell your grandma this weekend her chocolate chip cookie recipe isn't safe from the influencers. That's the show for this week. If you're going to be watching the Kentucky Derby tomorrow, make sure you're rooting for a little horse called journalism. The associate producer of The 7 is Taylor White. Special hosting help this week from Laura Benshoff and Christina Quinn. The staff writers are Jamie Ross and me. John Taylor is our editor. Copy editing by Melissa No and Thomas Haliba. Mixing and sound design is by Jim Briggs and Justin Garish. Our theme music is by Edith Mudge. Renita Jablonski is our director of audio. I'm Hannah Jewell. Thanks for listening and have a great weekend. I'll meet you back here on Monday.
I'm Sally Jenkins, and I'm a sports columnist and feature writer for The Washington Post. My job entails pulling the curtain on really big sports events at what is going on in locker rooms, what's going on in the stadium tunnel, most importantly, what's going on in the minds of the athletes that I cover. I think that we have an instinct that sports are really important in some primal way. We pay a lot of money for them. We build really big stadiums for them. And I think that athletics really gets us in touch with aspiration and teach something very, very important about accountability, about self-determination. And so my job is to really make those links explicit for readers and users. Subscriptions support this work and the people behind it. Find out more at subscribe.washingtonpost.com. I'm Sally Jenkins, and I'm one of the people behind The Post.